Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and these are my top 50 favorite animated films of all time. Yes, we are embarking on quite the new adventure as I count down my favorite films ever, and we are starting with my favorite animated films. Now, of course, the caveat this is just my opinion. These are just the films I personally enjoy the most, and that is how this ranking came to be. No other factors were taken in other than my personal favorites. So keep it cute and keep it nice in those comments, but I cannot wait to hear your thoughts and opinions as we move through the countdown. But before we jump into our actual top 50, let's go ahead and discuss some films that didn't quite make the cut. With so many amazing animated films, narrowing it down to just 50 was way too difficult. So let's get into this week's honorable mentions. Frozen 2 is that rare sequel that fully surpassed the original for me. The music is stellar, the animation is next level from Disney, and the character development was really sophisticated and took all of the characters we knew and loved to greater depths than we had realized in the first film. The Breadwinner is a beautiful independent animated film that delivered beautiful 2D animation to pair with a really important and heartfelt story about an underrepresented group. Finally, James and the Giant Peach blends together live action and stop motion animation in this doll animated classic. The stop motion is wonderful, and these characters are perfectly quirky as they deliver this heart and message to the film. Now, let's go ahead and kick off the actual countdown. Here is number 50. At number 50, I have the Lego Batman movie. I actually adored the Lego Batman movie. It is so funny. The jokes came fast and they came furious for me. The costume changes with Batman were also stellar, and all of the dynamic with he and Robin was beautiful. Not to mention, the Joker in this film is amazing. Another classic Joker put to the big screen. But Will Arnett is so good as Lego Batman. The animation is just as good, if not just a touch better than the Lego movie itself, and it more than lived up to the quality of the rest of the franchise. It's a fresh, exuberant new take for the Batman character that for so long has been very dark and very gloomy. Easy, breezy, a whole lot of fun. I really enjoyed the Lego Batman movie. Coming in at number 49, I have Ants. Yes, the DreamWorks animated film. That came out the same year as a Pixar animated film that also starred some ants. What I really enjoy about Ants is the darker tone that it takes. Really kind of an existential, thought-provoking film for this animated movie following a colony of ants. Not to mention, it gets really dark and really grim. There is a big war sequence that is a little bit traumatizing because they don't pull punches when it comes to these 90s DreamWorks projects, and Ants certainly did not. Woody Allen, Sharon Stone, Jennifer Lopez, Sylvester Stallone, Danny Glover, Dan Aykroyd, the entire cast is all amazing in this film. The animation is beautiful, really unique and distinctive, and overall, Ants is just a really sophisticated, dark entry from DreamWorks. At number 48, I have Weathering with You, the follow-up film from director Makoto Shinkai after the widely acclaimed and huge box office success of Your Name. Weathering with You provides us with another ethereal, magical romance, and I thought it was quite the magical film to experience. This animation is stunning. What you witness, the visuals are just absolutely breathtaking. The way that the weather is brought to screen, it's amazing. I mean, it looked amazing. The original music that was made just for this film also completely transforms and adds to the movie. The story itself is also very interesting. It takes a Japanese myth, a Japanese legend, gives it new life with a really heartfelt, emotional story that is sure to get in your feels by the end. For all the romantics out there, Weathering with You delivers. Not to mention, the laughs are there, the coming of age elements all add to the romance that is the central story. It's really a beautiful film. One of the more recent films here to make the list. At 47, I have Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest. Well, when we start off on the base premise of a highly environmental message, you already have me hooked. What can I say? But Fern Gully takes it so much further than that with a wonderful, loony premise that brings so much energy and fun. Not to mention, we have two standout vocal performances from Robin Williams and Tim Curry, who are both amazing in this film. The animation is really beautiful, again, very inventive, and the character design is all wonderful. It takes the environmental message to the rainforest in a very straightforward but magical direction that works wonders to bring an important topic to children, make it fantastical, but clear enough that the message is there. I love Fern Gully, and as a childhood favorite, it's always stuck with me. Coming in at number 46, I have Isle of Dogs. Second animated feature from director Wes Anderson is a beautiful feat. The production design is stunning. The stop motion animation is just beautiful. The level of detail work that went into creating this film is out of this world, particularly on that trash island when you get those bottles in that room. Oh, I mean, it's next level. But all of Wes Anderson's staples are here and in full force. This may be the most Wes Anderson movie that's ever been made. It's all symmetric. The cork is there, the characters are there, the messaging is clearly there, and I think it all works to pretty much perfection. Not to mention, we get a really lovely message about dogs and their meaning while developing these dogs as their own individual characters that you're rooting for and you care about. Again, at 45, I have The Brave Little Toaster. One of the most bizarre films of my childhood, also happens to be one of the darkest of my childhood, but this is the kind of dark that works. As we moved throughout the 80s particularly, animation was in a really weird place, and there were a lot of attempts to go dark. Most of them I didn't really like. However, The Brave Little Toaster brings in all of the cute and all of the heart that really makes the darkness and the sadness within the story resonate and hit home. The idea of being inadequate and being tossed out is front and center in this film. This is another one that doesn't really pull punches. Our characters are put in real peril, and that last dumpster scene is a hold your breath type of filmmaking. It is intense. Not to mention that song is so depressing. Everything about that dumpster scene is amazing, but also heartbreaking. But it's a really fun, unique adventure as we're watching these appliances move their way through life, just trying to get back to their owner. The brave little toaster walked so that Toy Story could come down the line a few years later and run. But this quaint little film definitely deserves its own due. At number 44, I have Kung Fu Panda. A highly underrated DreamWorks series. I happen to really enjoy all of the Kung Fu Panda movies. Jack Black really found his footing when it came to the character of Po, a lovable goofball who really brings out the heart behind some of the cringe Jack Black jokes. The idea that anybody could be the hero was a beautiful message that rang true in Kung Fu Panda. Of course, we have an all-star cast assembled here. Angelina Jolie, Lucy Liu, Jackie Chan, Seth Rogen, and of course Dustin Hoffman all deliver stellar performances. The animation is beautiful, and the storytelling is highly inventive while mixing the funny with the heart as we move along through this action kung fu adventure. It blends everything together really well and is such a delight to watch. At number 43, I have A Bug's Life. Yes, the other ant film also makes this section of the ranking. A Bug's Life often feels like that forgotten Pixar film. It obviously was sandwiched and overshadowed by the Toy Story franchise, but it has so many amazing elements on its own that it still holds a special place as top tier Pixar for me. I love all of our characters. We have really strong female characters in this film who are strong and confident in who they are and their abilities without ever coming off as try hard. Again, the message about being an outsider is highly evident in this and finding confidence within yourself, and it's a beautiful message. Not to mention the idea of overcoming an overbearing societal hierarchy is highly relevant and beautifully done with the grasshoppers. The animation is stunning in this film. The textures still to this day look amazing, and the world building is out of this world next level. Plus, it's really funny. Not only do the circus animals provide great comedic relief, but Flick and all of the ants give us wonderful moments as well. A beautiful story, beautiful animation, and although one of Pixar's first efforts, still one that I think deserves its credit. At number 42, I have The Jungle Book. Yes, the 1967 classic Disney film. I've always loved The Jungle Book, and if I'm being honest, I don't know fully what it is that resonates so well with me. Yet again, we are giving a story about an outsider who is accepted by other species in this case, and it's beautiful. Mowgli and his connection with all of these animals is a pure delight. I personally have always loved Bagheera, but obviously Mowgli and Baloo are quite the duo. March of the Elephants, the villainous Kaa, and of course, the really intimidating, frightening villain of Shere Khan all make for a really exciting, fun film that will have you smiling from start, almost to finish. Not to mention, the bare necessities and I Want to Be Like You with King Louie are still classics and staples amongst the Disney song catalog. And yet, here we are again with another environmental message. So maybe that's why The Jungle Book has always stuck with me as it has. But I still love this Disney classic all these years later. And at number 41, we have Toy Story 2. Now, Toy Story 2 seemed to be affected a little bit by DreamWorks. There are a lot of pop culture references in this film that are much more overt and forward than we saw in any of the other entries when it came to most Pixar films, but certainly these Toy Story films. However, the story with Jessie and Woody is so amazing, and Jessie as a character, the development she receives in this film, and that heartbreaking backstory we get for her really elevates the material. Not to mention, we get another wonderful moment of Woody trying to get back and realize who he is as Andy's toy, as a staple for Andy, and the rest of the gang all coming together for their friend. The jokes keep rolling. The animation is a complete step up from the original, and I just happen to absolutely adore Bullseye. It used to be one I thought was actually quite overrated, but over the years I've really come to appreciate all of the messages and heart that Toy Story 2 has to offer. That is our first 10 films in my top 50 favorite animated films of all time. What do you think? Are you shocked to see any of these films make the top 50? Are you shocked that any of them are this low on the countdown? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. If you enjoyed this video and are looking forward to hearing the rest of my top 50 favorite animated films, make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe so you are always up to date on my latest videos, including each and every installment in the series. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.